All right, so a few months ago, I took a look at the Geonix Revision 2 from Chosfox, and I kind of said something in that video that's going to apply to today's video. This isn't like a YouTuber like, oh, I have inside knowledge of this, but I'm assuming within 6 to 12 months, they're going to have another Revision 3 of this that does something else kind of cool. I promise that really wasn't an insider info thing that I knew, but today we're going to be taking a look at the Vero75 from Chosfox, so let's jump in and we'll take a look. So this here is the Vero75 from Chosfox, as you can see, and it has a very nice like embossed look on there. But the big thing with this that I've noticed differently from the last boards they sent me is that I think a way they're keeping it around the $160 price point is that they're actually not including a case with this one. So the box is what you get on this one. You could use it as a carrying case, of course, but their last boards that they've sent me all had like nice carrying cases. So that's kind of the first thing I noticed. But if we actually just pop this off here really nice and slowly, what we'll be greeted by inside, of course, is just some black foam. We'll take that off. I'll put this box on the floor over here. And inside we have the board right here. And then up top we have our accessories. Now this is a tri-mode board, meaning it has Bluetooth, it has wire connection over USB-C, and then it also has a 2.4 gigahertz dongle, which I assume is inside this box. So we'll just pop this out really quick and take a look at what comes in here. So we'll kind of pour some stuff out here. We have some keycaps here, it looks like. We have the, of course, little dongle there to get the lower latency over 2.4 because Bluetooth does have more latency. So I say have that. And then inside we also have some other stuff. We have a keycap puller and then a little cable here. So we will put this off to the side for now. And we'll take a look at the main thing here, which of course is the keyboard. We do have a manual down here, which, you know, I don't ever look at those, so we'll just throw that over there and not worry about that, which we'll see if that bites me, because sometimes that does. We might have to actually look at that to figure some stuff out. But I'm going to put the box onto the floor over here, and this here is the Vero75, so we'll pull it out of this nice protective cover here. And what we have is just the big ol' 75% keyboard here. Now, the big thing with me that I know a lot of my viewers do know is that I typically don't like bigger keyboards. Now, that's not to say that I hate them. I just like smaller little keyboards because it's kind of my whole thing. But I'm really excited for this one here because although it is a 75%, if we look at the side here, you can see it's a low profile 75%, which is kind of really, really cool. Now, the switches in here, if I actually grab our little switch puller over here, I'll pop this open. What we can do is pop off one of these keycaps here, and we can take a look inside. If I guess I'll just pull the whole thing out. What we have there is I believe these are Kailh White Rain switches. So they're kind of they're not chalk, but they are a different style of low profile that Chosfox has been using quite a bit. You can see there, it has like an MX style stem, and it looks pretty nice there. And I'll just drop it on the table as I normally do whenever I try to look at stuff. But so we'll pop that right in there, pop that there. And then what we have, of course, is the board. So what I want to do is I want to just take a look at the board and what it looks like. And the big thing on this, I believe it comes in white and black. I have the white one here or the silver. You can see this, how this looks on that kind of aluminum build there. We have the USB-C up top. We have nothing on the front, of course, nothing on the side, just a very clean look. And it does have kind of an angle there. So if we look, it has a little typing angle, which keeps it on the desk and it's a little bit comfortable to use. But the big thing with this board that I thought looked really, really cool is if we actually just grab it and flip it over, we have these really big kind of feet here that just look really, really neat, and these really massive like rubber pads. We will be tearing this down in a few moments here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find out where is the power switch on it. It is right here. So there's a power switch here that we could see on the right has the Bluetooth, and then on the left is 2.4, and I believe in the middle is just wire connection. So we're just going to turn this on to Bluetooth mode, and what you'll see is that we get the little RGB lighting up there, and then we do have full RGB on the entire board. Now, I do believe this also supports VIA. I don't know if it supports VIA, but it does have QMK, so you could port it over if you wanted to. That is kind of the board. We do have a flashy thing up here, which is probably for Bluetooth connection. I believe to change that, you hold FN, and you can kind of, you can change these, so change the different profiles there. What we want to do now, of course, is before we actually type on this or do anything, I want to kind of tear it down because that's kind of my whole thing. I like taking the boards apart and taking a look at some of the decisions they've made. And really, like I've said in my last Chosfox video, it's kind of hard to do these videos for Chosfox because their boards are typically pretty good. They come in at good prices, and I don't really know what else to do other than tear it down, take a look at it, do a typing test. So we're going to just tear it down now and take a look. All right, so I have the 6 screws on the back, and you might think that's a little weird that there are 8 holes on here. I believe this is a pre-production unit, so I was actually missing these 2 screws here, which is a little bit weird. Maybe there's spares in here. I don't see any in, I don't know. But with that, not a big deal. What we're going to do, of course, is just kind of take a look inside. So I'm going to clear off my desk and pop off this back here. And we can start taking a look at how they actually designed this. And you can see there are a lot of layers in this, I do know from the image on their website, but we want to carefully just kind of take a look. And what you can see first is that we have two big batteries here because, like I mentioned, it is wireless. These are, if it says on here, 1800 milliamps each. So I believe they're probably wiring this together. So that's about 3600 milliamps. Should last quite a while, especially having those like LEDs on it. What we can do also is we see in here that they're actually using, I'm going to try to just get this off first before I talk about this because it'll make my life a lot easier. So you can see I just copped those off there. And what we have is we have this kind of plastic sheeting underneath to back that. But I really like when I see on these boards that they use JST connectors to connect the batteries. That's just a big deal because batteries are consumable items, and that if they're like that, you don't have to solder anything. You just pop them off and pop a new one in, or they could send you a replacement part if they did die or anything. So it's really nice to see there. But I'm going to put this off to the side. And there are a lot of layers to this, so we'll put this over here. And then we'll take a look at the actual main stack up for the board. So what we have here is just a piece of foam, it looks like, so that's like a backing foam. And then we have another layer of, I believe, is that plastic? So there's plastic and foam on here, so another layer, and it is taped down. So we'll kind of pop that tape off of there to get to the actual PCB. So there's another layer of foam here, and it has like a plastic on the back. I don't know if that comes off. Let's take a look here. Maybe not. But that's basically just a foam there for a little bit more sound dampening. And then of course we have the big PCB here. Now, something I'm noticing right now that I really like is that if we actually look, there's this ribbon cable here connected to a USB-C daughter board. Now, the reason I really like that when I see that on boards is that, let's say you plug something into this USB-C and you break the connector, right? It's not connected to this PCB. All you need to replace that is just another little daughter board there, so you can see just how tiny that is. They can just send you that part. You can plug it back in with a ribbon cable and you're good to go. So when you see those little daughter boards, that's actually a really nice design decision when companies do that. It just makes them a lot easier to kind of fix if anything does go wrong. But really, there's not much else to say about the PCB here. I mean, it's a pretty standard PCB. We do have, of course, our little sockets in there, which is our chalk sockets. So these are Kailh chalk sockets, so the switches are compatible with chalk, I guess. We of course see our little LEDs down below here for that backlight on the actual back of the case, because there's like that back little bar, and then there's also the per key LEDs, which you can see those here. These are all the LEDs for the actual switches. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put this all back together, and then we can do typing test on it. That's really all there is to this video. All right, so it's all back assembled now, and what I actually did with these screws back here is I just put them kind of diagonal to equalize the weight between it, but you probably saw in that time lapse that I was messing around with it a lot because I managed to do something on that. If we look here on the little switch section, I actually broke the switch with my sharp tweezer here, so the switch does still work. I can kind of like grab it inside there, but the actual part won't work. So if I grab this over here, you can see I just took that off. Mistakes happen when doing these teardowns. This isn't gonna be an issue for anyone that actually uses this board. It's just kind of, I took it apart for this video to show you, and I managed to snap the little switch off. So I have to grab this tweezer and kind of reach in there to go to wireless modes. But it doesn't matter as much to me because I'm actually going to just use it wired most of the time anyway. But like I did mention, this one does have the dongle, which is a better way to do wireless. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just flip this over. I'm going to, of course, just take it and plug it in so we can take a look at it. And I really do have to point this out because I love how this looks. It's like this rounded look on here is honestly incredible, and it might come like really hard to show on camera here, but it's really nice. Like the machining on this is pretty much like perfect. And these big old feet on the bottom are really awesome too. They're like really grippy, and they just kind of put it at a nice little typing angle like that. But what I want to do is actually hop into my computer and show you rebinding this, because I don't typically show that in these videos. It is fully VIA compatible, meaning you can just use a tool to rebind everything, which is really, really nice. So we're gonna hop into the computer and just take a quick look at that, and then we'll do a typing test on it. So here we are inside of VIA, and for this board, what I did actually have to do, this is pretty typical of VIA boards, especially before they're released publicly. So I did have to enable the design tab, so you can enable the design tab here, and then I just had to upload the draft definition, which they have available on their website. There's just a link to download it. And then after that, it actually popped up in here. But what I have to do with this board, of course, because I use Colmac on my boards, I have to rebind the base layer. So that's what I'm gonna do here really quick, because I'm just gonna time lapse through rebinding that, and then kind of show you some of the other stuff in VIA too. So that's all rebound, very quick and simple to do as you'd expect with VIA. This does also support QMK. They have their firmware on that same download link, so if you want to do that like yourself, you can do that. But we also have on here that's cool is we actually have this lighting tab, and we can kind of modify everything in here. So if I change this, you can see on the board it speeds up. If I turn this down now, you can see it slows way on down. We can change it to like a different effect, so you can kind of do all different types of things here. A solid color, you can of course do that, set it to like I don't know, blue, so you can see now how that looks on the board. All those different controls inside of VIA, that's just really nice to control RGB, because typically like the standard QMK stuff that you have on the actual code firmware is kind of hidden in layers and stuff on the board. So having VIA here is really, really nice to just be able to kind of see in real time on your board as you change stuff. But what I want to do now, of course, is the most important thing in this video. And I did kind of type on this while like messing around with it, but I haven't actually typed on it yet because I just finally got it rebound to Colmac. It sounds and feels really good. So I think you guys are going to be impressed with that. Let's go over, we're going to do a typing test on it right now. So yeah, that's the Vero75, and like I mentioned a few times with Chosfox videos, I always kind of struggle with them because their boards are just kind of good. There's not really much to say about them, and that's what I really like about their boards, is that they're very simple. But this one here, I am particularly impressed with, because I don't know if I mentioned the price. It's $160. I think their pre-sale is $150, but it's about $160 is what it says on their website. So for this board with an aluminum case and those keys and everything in there, and especially the design decisions they made with like the daughter board and stuff, but the price point's really good for it. It is a very heavy board actually too. It's probably about 3 pounds. It's kind of hefty here. It sits on the desk really nice. It has that beautiful kind of like edge here with the back and the really rounded design. It just looks really good, and I'm just consistently impressed with Chosfox boards. They're hard to make videos because their boards are just simple and they're good. But with that, I think the typing test in particular sounded really nice on this. With those White Rain switches in it, they feel really nice to type on, maybe a little bit heavy, so maybe I'd look at some of the other switch options. They didn't really give me a choice, they just kind of sent this one to me. But I think they feel really nice. The stabilizers came out really good on it. And there's my dog. Perfect timing. Hello, Angus. How you doing? He's just sniffing me. Anyway, that's the Chosfox Vero75. I think it's a very nice board. I like the keycaps on it. I like the switches. I like the design. Not really much else to say here. And I might say yet again, like my last video that I did for Chosfox, I'm excited to see what they do in the future, because yet again, they're probably going to do something in the future and tell me, hey, you want to look at it? I'll be like, sure. And it'll be the same thing where we'll just tear it down, do a typing test. I'll say it's good, and that's basically that. So with that, if you enjoy this video, comment, rate, subscribe as usual, and I'll see you next time.